Oh man, guys. Yeah, I have purchased the 950X 3D for a little bit now, and I have yet to have time to test it, but here I am testing it. Mating with the particular CPU is the MSI B650i ITX motherboard. From the looks of it, it's performing quite well. Um, I haven't yet to go into BIOS to do any tuning with this particular CPU, and it's it's rocking it. This is the Cinebench R23, and every time I start this test, the score is just getting higher and higher. Yeah, it's a very interesting situation, I suppose, because the temperature is getting higher and higher too, but the score are going to be higher and higher every time too. I think it's maybe plateaued a little bit. But damn. Yeah, so I do also have a 950X 3D, and it's only able to do about, I believe, 27,000 score, and this thing is easily passing 41. Yeah, I mean, peaked out about 42 for a couple times. You see the temperature is just slowly creeping up. And this is without any tuning, right? This is no PBO or anything like that. So I'm actually gonna just turn on PBO, no curve optimize or anything like that, and see what the result is. Alrighty, I got PBO turned on. Let's do our first test. It's pretty nice that these tests is pretty quick, just because of how fast these CPUs are. Hey, broken my record already. See, that jumps to 95 degrees right away, eh? Yeah, before it was just, not hitting that temperature right away, but this is like hitting thermal throttle right away. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I'm good. I'm pretty sure most people would just leave like this, to be honest. But my goal is that eventually I'll dip this into ice water, and let's see, big numbers over here. Oh, thermal throttled. Yeah. So looking at my cores while I'm doing this, actually, just do a 10-minute throttle test, see what happens. It's probably gonna do like 2 minutes, but so these cores are doing about 4.9, 4.8, about 4.8, and I'm pretty sure it's thermal throttles, and then it goes down to like 4.7, but it fluctuates between there, 4.7 to 4.9 gigahertz, and it's thermal throttles. Okay, what's the score like? 41,972. Okay, let's put a little bit of curve optimize on it, see what happens. Alright guys, I got it to set to -20 curve optimizer, and I was just checking one of my recordings just a little bit back and look at what the CPU package power was. It was sitting about 225, so it's quite toasty. It's running pretty quite a bit of power there. And now I'm gonna run this. Hope it doesn't crash. It's only -20, so I don't foresee it to be super crazy. And if you look at this, I just shave out about 25 watts, and I gain a score of another 1,000 points. That's pretty sweet, actually. Let's see a 10-minute test. Let's see what we can do. What sort of power is able to pull? I might have to turn up the pump speed on this thing for a little bit. Just I think it's not adequate water flow for this test. It is tuned for like quietness and all that stuff, so we'll see. It's able to do 200 watts. Can we keep it under 95 for a little bit longer? That's our scores like. Okay, 43,568. So it's getting toasty. Surprisingly, I think I was able to tame that 200 watts pretty good. Yeah. Okay. What I'm thinking is to actually go back and maybe put that into a -30. See if I can boot. Let's do that. Alrighty. -30, here we come. Look at the package power. We reduced by another I would say it's still about 200 watts, to be honest. The score was not that good. That's interesting. That's very interesting. So when I had it on -20, I think maybe there's a stability issue here, and that's why it's causing the score to drop. Okay, it's 44,391. That's back to what we expected. Package power is still about 200 watts, so really I haven't really improved on efficient or any sort of way, and it's not any cooler either. So it's definitely still hitting about 200 watts. I'm getting a little, just a tiny bit better, like a better score of sort. So let's do like a throttle test to see. So I think for this particular chip is unlike my 9800 X3D. I think the sweet spot sits about maybe -20. You're not getting any sort of improvement after that. Even though I started off with -20 right away, but I think I'm just, just kind of guessing what the number is. I think my guess was correct. 44,305. I see that temperature start creeping up a little bit. So yeah, let's stop this test. You know what? I'm gonna try -40 to see if this thing crashes or not, and we'll be right back. Alrighty, I have it tuned to -30. Unfortunately, on this little bit BIOS, there's two locations you could change for the PPO curve optimize, and if you change one place, and it will cause the other location of to bug out. So, anyways, going back to this. So I don't know it's actually worth it to go -30, just because I'm not seeing that much of improvement at all, or if any. I mean, I'm seeing, you know, decent score, but it's on par with -20, to be honest. And look at the peak watts utilization. I'm seeing shaving out maybe about 3 watts from the previous setting. 44.1. Yeah, it's quite easy to get to the diminishing return on this particular CPU. Yeah, I don't see any improvement at all. If not, like, the score dropped a little bit. You know what? Just for testing sake, let's do -40, and we'll be right back. That's interesting. I have this curve set up at -40 here. I don't know, is MSI motherboard trickery and stuff like that, because I have seen people says, you know, they can get past -30, or you can even go down to -20 some on the 9800X 3D chips. And obviously I'm running a 9950X 3D, and surprisingly I dialed into -40 and it booted no problem. So unless I'm winning like Silicon Lottery back to back on these X3D chips, or the MSI motherboards are running some sort of BIOS trickery that pretty much is as low as any number to be dialed in. But to be honest, triggering or not, I'm lowering it by another 9 watts on the powers over here, and I'm still gaining scores. So really, I think that -40 did stick, and it's definitely doing better in the -30, and I could see immediate improvement in terms, wattage output and the temperature control. And I'm not gaining any better of a score at all, but the chip is definitely running way cooler now. It's been quite stable for -40. Let's do like a 10-minute throttle test here, and I'm gonna pause the video maybe. Let's see if this temperature goes up. Can it hit 90? I'm actually very surprised how well this thing is doing -40. and 44,343. So that's about the same amount of score as I got from -20, but with much lower temperature and much lower wattage on the die, on the CPU package. I'm actually quite surprised. So I'm gonna keep it running and we'll be right back. Alright, we're about 5 minutes in this test. I think I'm gonna end up stopping it just because I actually wanted to jump into -50 to see if I can get this temperature even better. Because think about this, I'm running a 360 IO and I'm planning to put this particular CPU and motherboard combo in an ITX build, so I'm gonna be using a 240. Oh, it just crashed. I think I might have just touched the RAM for it to crash. Okay, we'll let it boot. We'll be right back. Okay, after that crash, it is something different, I suppose. Obviously, the BIOS I have reset it to default, but I want to go ahead and change a couple things in BIOS. Actually, I left it as default in BIOS as the pump speed, which you can hear right now is super freaking loud. The second thing I kind of left it, I wasn't sure it took an effect, because in this particular MSI motherboard there's 2 locations you could change your PBO settings. Previously I've been changing in its OC, root location. This one I changed under the AMD overclocking section. So I'm not sure that particular setting had kicked in or not, but it's looking like it's kicked in because I set it as -40 and it's definitely not over 200 watts. But if you notice the score, it's quite higher, a lot more higher than what I just did. It may be because the pump is running like 100% the whole time. It definitely cooled down the chip a little bit comparatively. If I run this one more time, I wouldn't say confused, but I'm just curious of, like, does the pump speed in this case actually matters? See, it just gained another more points. Like, what the heck? Like, I'm not overclocking or anything like that. I'm just by default. I literally just pressed this button and went in there and changed the XMP profile and also the curve optimizer to -40, and that's the result. I'm very confused. I'm gonna go back and verify the settings in BIOS, actually change it back to default and see what the numbers could be. But yeah, that threw all my numbers off from the very beginning, to be honest. Yuck. Alright, for some reason my capture card don't like capturing this particular BIOS in its resolution, so what I'm gonna end up doing is I'm gonna show you on my cell phone for exactly what I did. So right over here, right? So this BIOS, there's a section you can change your curve optimizer in here. and you can see it's -40. I am gonna change to -50. Actually, no. I am gonna actually leave it back to auto. I'm gonna go back and do that test. I'll show you where the other location is at. So if you go over here, if you look at where is it? Advanced CPU configuration in here. There's also a location you could change. But I think this is a different like option menu. Like it doesn't feel like it's the same compared to the other one for some reason. Because if I change the other one, the BIOS doesn't prompt me any BIOS change. So for example, right? So if I go back here, I just go back and select to auto, right? If I just save that setting, it just says I haven't made any changes. And we'll boot into Windows and see what happens. So now I booted into Windows and I'm gonna do that test. Now remember, I have set this to default setting, I suppose. So it's just at 200 watts. So literally that negative 40 optimizer did not take effect whatsoever. But why the score is crappy? I don't get it. So did that -40 took effect or not? That is the question. The package power stayed the same. The clocks are definitely higher than before. But the score are just not that good. I'm really confused. You know what we do? We'll run this for a few more times. The package power didn't change one bit. That's where it confuses me. Because you're supposed to, like, your peak wattage is supposed to be lower if you change your curve optimizer, unless there's something else in there. Anyways, I'll be right back. We're gonna go back to that negative. Actually, no. I'm gonna go to -50 right away to see the difference. All right. So going from this, I'm gonna go to advanced. Remember, this is in the settings, not in the OC menu. And I'm going to do the curve optimizer and go to all cores, go to negative. I'm gonna go 50, right? Oops, 50, enter. Now, supposedly, if I close this, it should say something I may change, but there's no change being made, according to BIOS. But I'm gonna reboot anyways. Now hopefully this thing boots. And we'll see you in Windows. Well, looks like I got the green screen of death. So it didn't like the negative 50, I suppose. Let's give that another try. All right, we are in. I'm almost anticipating that this is gonna crash at some point. Let's do that test. Okay, it crashed. One more time. Yep. Negative 50, no go. Let me dial it back down to negative 40, see what happens. So, I don't know what's wrong with this capture card. Initially, it doesn't want to capture. Now I'm booted into BIOS and it doesn't want to capture. Hey, I look at the bright side. I don't have to use my phone to record the rest of the footage, I suppose. Yeah, I guess this is the life of, you know, YouTuber, I suppose. Things doesn't work until it just happens to work again. Yeah, see that 50. I'm gonna put back into 40, and we save. Hey, we didn't make any changes for some reason that we obviously did. This is, I guess I don't have to cut any of this footage out. I'm just gonna keep it running. So weird reboots. Settings doesn't go in. Capture card not wanting to capture until I decide to want to capture. Okay. I'm gonna wait BIOS to kick in. I think it's about to kick in now. This is the awkward silence. Oh look, something's happening. Well, there we go. We are in. So negative 40. I think that's kind of the sweet spot. I would actually dial down to negative 35, I suppose. Just because previously I had it under the OC menu for some reason and it crashed, and now have it under the AMD overclocking side of things or on the settings menu, and it's stayed and performed very well. I'm very confused, but with that said, I don't get why that the package power didn't move at all if it's, you know, if I'm running negative 40, because I should see this go down, which it's not. It is still at 200 watts. Look at the freaking score. This is stupid. This is really stupid. I'm gonna do a, you know what? I'm gonna do a 30-minute test just to see how stable this is, and we'll be right back. Alright, it's been 20 minutes ish. I've been looking at this test. It's really stable, and I don't see the reason why I should continue test this. Now, one thing I'm gonna go back in BIOS is actually tune this particular pump speed back down a little bit so it's not as noisy. But yeah, it's safe to say I'm just gonna keep a -40 offset on this particular CPU. So I'll be right back. So I think it's time to wrap up this video, but before that, obviously I think -40 is probably where you kind of want to play with this 9950X3D. Obviously it depends on your cooling and your silicon quality. You might want to go up or down that negative curve. In my case, I'm hitting, a very good results with -40, which is I'm getting a 44, 603 right now with this particular test, and the temperature sits about 65 degrees on triple, 360 AIO, and what's really interesting about this second test when I tune down the pump speed is that I don't know if this inherently some programming on the chip or something. Once it hits this 85 whatever degrees, I don't know, it could be a bug or something on the sensors or something, but I'm getting 190 watts instead of a 200 watts after when I tune the pump. That's something that's weird. I might try to do this with a different cooling system. Actually, I will. I was thinking about doing an ice, bucket for this CPU, but I ran into a little bit of mode issue. So I had the rat in my little bucket for a little bit, and mold grew in it, so I had to clean that out. It's only outside of the rat, so it's really nothing inside that's growing, so that's not bad. But I had to clean the rat a little bit. But other than that, it's yeah, this test is quite interesting, and obviously this is such a beast of a CPU. This has been doing what, 5 minutes of test. I'm only hitting about 85 degrees, and yeah, I think I'll drive this daily drive this every day at -40. And with that said, I'm gonna do one more last bit of run. I'm gonna let this temperature to go cool down a little bit, and I will be starting this off again just to see what the best score I could get out of this setup. $44,868. I'm pretty sure I hit 45 when I had the pump running at full tilt. So It does make a little bit of performance difference if you do increase the pump speed. But yeah, it's been pinning around 44-ish. Yeah, so we'll wrap up this test. Thank you for guys watching this video, and if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you really like the video, please subscribe for the channel. We will see you next time. Bye bye.